Hey folks, welcome in. This is Babbage and Air. We're back in Long Dark. Wind is gusting. We're in Pleasant Valley. We're doing well other than the fact that we don't have a hammer and we don't have a bedroll. But we do have things that are curing. And we do have lots of cloth. And we do have some sewing kits, so we can go ahead and do some repairs while we wait. This is new, this is new. Let's fix this one. Come on. Okay, we are going to try to stay well fed.
Drop any of this gear.
I think that's pretty good. Okay. I think we have more matches than fuel at this point, right? Yeah, we didn't pick up a... potatoes, dog food. Surprisingly well stocked. I don't think we'll get around to using salt to make anything fancy.
Man, this pack is getting kind of heavy. I could eat a horse. That's saying a lot because I love horses.
I mean, the dark little secret about Great Bear Island is that there are no horses because Astrid's already eaten them all, and she's just deluding herself into believing that there's still horses on the island. Maybe some of the previous inhabitants had to steal the horses or take them off the island just to prevent Astrid from eating them all. That's my little theory. Maybe. Maybe. Okay. Ooh, that's a lot of water. Okay, we're well fed. This is not really the most effective way to do cooking, but it is a stove. Hey, Roller! Welcome in. Here's the hydrate. How was your Saturday? my Saturday barely feels like a Saturday. Like, I mean, it was relaxing, but I also had to run a lot of errands today too. So maybe it wasn't. I have multiple shopping trips, like to grocery stores in the area, because one place didn't have what I was looking for or tends to be overpriced. I had to go to the other one. And then right at the end of the day, I realized, oh crap, I'm supposed to go to a potluck tomorrow, and what I was planning to make, I'm missing a key ingredient, and I had to go back for it. So, yeah. I thought about doing a number of different things, in terms of what I could. Let's see. We want to place. We still don't have a pot, do we? Just do potatoes. Yeah. I mean, it was relatively quiet, other than like 3 short shopping trips. They're not too bad. Like, 2 of them were just walk 10 minutes to the metro station and catch the train. 1 stop, do the grocery shopping, get on the train, come back. It would have been 1 trip if I'd remembered to pick up something the first trip. And then the other one was a short, like 10-minute drive to the grocery store, the other grocery store. I could have taken the bus, but it would have been like a 15-20-minute bus ride. But I mean, yes, that's exactly it. It's like I need those excuses to get up and out. I've been trying to do that a lot more since moving here, because my default during the entire pandemic and through a lot of my first year of university, for my library science degree, was not to, well, I moved around on campus only because I was living on campus, so I had to walk to classes and back. So there was actually a little bit of exercise every day, but not as, once I moved out here, I knew I had to, off of campus, I knew I was going to be working remotely and, within a year be done with my coursework, which I am now. So then really need to have opportunities to move around throughout the day. Yeah. So it's been good. I mean, I have got like one of the slowest weight loss journeys, but it's okay. It's not a race. It's just like this long marathon where there's some periods of time where I'm losing a little bit more weight and other times where I'm just kind of plateaued. I might go up and down a few pounds and then just going to stay the same for a while. But overall, like, in terms of heart health, in terms of like lung capacity, in terms of general energy levels, I'm much better than I was like a year ago. So, I mean, blood pressure is good. So, I mean, like, I don't have diabetes. So I'm taking that all as a win, right? It's like I am accepting the fact that I'm 51 and doing substantial, like, radical changes to your body is not something that is usually sustainable if you try to do it rapidly. But you have to do it very gradually in ways that you're going to keep up, right? So, like, ensuring that I walk, around 9 or 10,000 steps a day is very manageable if I make 1 or 2 trips out of the house and I do a little exercise in the morning and I do, if I'm short a little bit, I'll just kind of do some walking or steps inside the house. If the weather's bad, especially, and there's not really a good desire to go outside. Let's eat all these potatoes and then go to bed. we should really get rid of the sardines. On the safe side. Yeah, I've read up on like all the new weight loss stuff, like with Ozempic and whatever the other is called. Ouija board? No, that's not what it's called, but that's what I think of whenever I see it. Wegovy or something like that. I think generally speaking, like for certain people, it is what is going to help them the most, but there's always a trade-off. And some of those using, I think Ozempic has like sort of the side effects or so the side effects are that the weight loss is not, it can't control whether the weight loss is entirely fat or also bone. It takes it everywhere. So if you're worried about bone density, if you're worried about, especially as you get older, it may not actually be the right thing to do. And like, I feel like they're the same as like AI. They get really hyped up and marketed up, and then, it's also not sustainable. It's like once you sign on to use one of those drugs, you're basically signing on, you want to sustain that look. You're going to be paying for that prescription for the rest of your life. Whereas if you incorporate more exercise, if you just control your meal portions and eliminate the worst culprits out of your diet and just aim for preparing more of your meals on your own with raw ingredients instead of always getting heavily like high sodium, like heavily packaged meats and goods tend to be not healthy for you. So it's like if you spend more time cooking, which I enjoy cooking, so why don't I? So I do it. So I cook more. But in other periods of my life when I was more successful at losing weight, I think part of it was that I would make the meal, cook whatever the dish was, and then I would immediately move it into Tupperware and only leave myself one portion, one helping. And that way I avoided like going back for seconds or thirds because I like my cooking, and that's kind of a problem. If I were a terrible cook, I would lose more weight, I think. Yeah, so I don't want to be dependent on something. That's a general principle of my life, is I do not like being dependent on something else if I feel like it's possible for me to overcome on my own. Now, there are things that I can overcome on my own that definitely I do. I have prescription drugs for my blood pressure and for my cholesterol. And at some point, hopefully they'll say, yeah, you're doing well enough. We can, well, they're already like pretty low. They're very small doses, but they're there because my body does not, doesn't work as efficiently at processing those things as it needs to. So. Yep. All right.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Okay. We are in PV. We are in search of bedroll and hammer and better clothing. So we're gonna see what we can find here. Oh, we forgot to check inside this place. Astrid has the furry of her own musmentum.
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
Moosifier, don't play, dude. No. Hey Laszlo, good to see you. We are taking our break from our Too Many Wolves run to do this tournament called Furry Then Silence 2.0, put together by Chef Maria and Big Fish. I think it's Chef Maria's tournament actually. And so yeah, it's basically very much like a, you know, get behind me, Lucifer, right? Yeah. There's our challenge in the basic, simplest forms. What it is. Hey, that's good, right? If you're sleeping, getting your sleep in. I'm pretty good about getting my sleep in these days. I try. You know, I'm usually in bed by 11:30, and then I'm up at 6:30. Okay. Where are we going? Guess we should come down here. Grab some cattails.
This pack is getting kind of heavy.
Nothing. That was disappointing. Okay. So I think our best bet is to just make a run for the barn, I guess, next. I don't think we get anything in the cave. Figures. Go away, go away, go away, go away. Ah, wasted a match. New meds help. Yeah, seriously, I think, like, I know once I got meds for my blood pressure, yeah, things were a lot better. My blood pressure was spiking. It was not good. So everything's much more manageable now. And, yeah, I mean, I think part of the reason why I sleep better is I generally slept better once I moved back to Canada in 2019. I was like, you know what? It's amazing. It's amazing how well I sleep now that I'm not, you know, always worried about stuff. For the time being, I'm okay, but I am starting to worry about stuff again. You know, I worry a lot about what happens south of the border, you know, in the U.S. Especially for my friends that work as librarians and work as university professors. I feel like there's a lot of and museums, people work in museums, a lot of uncertainty around what's happening there. And then I'm also like a little uneasy about what's happening here in Canada, because I feel like once again I've graduated at a bad time to be in whatever profession I just finished, right? So like just finished the training. Well, last time I finished the PhD, and I graduated in 2015. Ended, got my officially completed all my requirements in the end of 2015. So that meant 2016 was when I was supposed to be. I was already on the market, but 2016 was my availability. And it turns out if you're Canadian in the US looking for university positions in 2016, it was a terrible time. Yeah, the latest news, I hate to break this to you, Laszlo, latest news is that there is an effort, I think it may have already passed, to take away Wi-Fi and public access Wi-Fi on school buses and in rural communities. Like, what? It's just cut people off. I'm just like, that just feels...
Cold. I'm warming up a bit.
Yeah. So like the funding for that, there was a program that was supposed to make it easier for rural communities and for students that were on school buses to have access to Wi-Fi, and they cut that. Yeah, if you want more things to be outraged about, there's always more things to be outraged about. It's but it expends too much energy. I think, this is part of the strategy is just to be exhausted with things that you're upset about. I think there are so many things that are exhausting because we don't have any power to change them. They feel too big, or they feel like, we're disconnected from the means of controlling whatever's happening. I mean, short of an election, your ability to directly influence certain things can feel very limited. But there are some things that you can do that I think are important. I think, it's important to be a bridge builder. To spend your time, rather than building walls or looking for ways to divide people, to figure out ways to unite them. And I think like one of my favorite things to do is actually to host small dinner parties and just like invite like 3 to 5 other people over. And mostly I invite writers over, but like the last party I had, it was a number of writers that I know and their partners. And they didn't really know each other that well. And so it was a good way for them to get to know each other better. And then also just to like learn a lot. Like people bring all sorts of different life experiences. No, it was really good. It was really good. And this particular dinner party skewed a little bit older, so like they were closer to my age, and that was refreshing because sometimes, in my program, I was usually surrounded by people that were like significantly younger than me, and I love being around young people, but sometimes they're still figuring. Well, here's the secret: we're all still figuring things out, but. But for people in their 20s, they're often not always fully aware of what they're trying to figure out. But I think the little things, like getting to know your neighbors, simple things like that, like being able to hold, and and like treating, you know, the strangers around you like as not strangers, it's just people you haven't got to know yet, right? So my father was always, he loved talking to random people, and so we'd be like at a grocery store or like shopping for shirts or a suit or something, and he would just strike up conversations with other people around, and he was always doing that. And some people thought he was a little bit odd, but a lot of people appreciated it, I think, because they felt seen as another human being and not as an obstacle to getting whatever you needed to get. IP Fire Evangelist. Oh, Firewall for the Masses. I don't. Okay, I'm going to ask the silly question, but I don't know what IP Fire is, and I feel like I'm about to get hit with the IP Fire hose.
Hope nobody needs this anymore.
So okay, so it's the firewall. Okay, okay. I was wondering if it was like a legitimate firewall, or when you said like IP Fire is a firewall for the masses, if that was a metaphor, if like somehow you had like a way to block out um, the comments and the stupidity of other people, and the dangerous things that people say to each other. It's like that would be pretty amazing if you had that kind of a firewall. But if it's a you know a firewall in the traditional sense of a firewall in the tech world, then okay, yeah, okay, I got it, yeah. Okay, we must move on. So on this tournament, we only have 50 days, and we have not had an opportunity to forge yet. So they do prefer Fireball over Firewall. Unless you're in one of my campaigns and happen to have gone shopping at Discount Pete's Bottomless Barrel of Surprises. It's a local fence who sells very questionable items and often flawed or defective magical items, including one of Furball, which is one of my favorite items, which I have seen exactly one party find a very legitimate and interesting use for. It creates a furball the size of a fireball, and it is indeed flammable.
Gotta warm up somehow.
But it won't like create the same damage as a fireball. I have not been insistent that they collect ingredients. I'm not that much of a stickler. I do think I should make a version of Firewall available, or Wall of Fire that is simply titled Firewall. And it actually does not create a wall of fire. It just creates a barrier that prevents certain types of information traveling in and out. Maybe it does that, or it's like What would it block? Would it pull up packets? Would it block fire absorbing barrier? Is it asbestos? Oh, we in my Sunday group, which is a game that's run by a different person in our group now. I'm no longer the DM for that. And she was running the game, and she mentioned something. What was it? Oh, she was listing some. There was a magic shop we came across of, that had some items that had been brought in for analysis or for identification that had never been claimed, and so they were being offered for a discount, and it included a pouch of I think it was dust of invisibility, dust of disappearance, but she had said dust of indivisibility, which was much more exciting, and I was like, oh, I really wish we had that. Ooh, I could see that. What if you had a firewall that blocked you? You had to specify a particular term, and then so it would be a word, and any spells that had the appearance of or any spell names, any spells cast where their spell name contained that word, would have that word removed from the spell and its effect. So like if they cast fireball and you would set up the firewall to block fire, then it would just like the only thing that would come through would be the ball. Oh, you think it should block a school? Ooh. Block a school is kind of powerful. I think it should just block one word. Just the word, right? So like,
And this pack is getting kind of heavy.
somehow we ended over. I took a wrong turn and we ended up at the Draft Dodgers, but this is okay because this puts us close to the plane crash. We still don't have bedroll though.
This stuff will come in handy.
Probably won't. What else would be fun? If firewall blocked. What other word would be fun to block? I mean, it could get worse, right? Like if you trying to think of some examples where blocking one word would actually create a bigger problem.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Now, if you start stripping and changing the the text of the spell or its effects. And I think what you really are using instead of firewall is you're using regex, regular expressions, which would also be funny. I guess it would only be funny to people that deal with regular expressions. Okay, we're still early. It's still warm right now. Let's start a fire here.
Come on, little fire.
We'll throw a coal on there. Okay, let's see what we got here. We got exactly 2 T's. Okay. Oops. We really need to find the bedroll and the hammer. So I think we're going to try up here. See if it's in the misty picnic cave thing. And if we get the hammer in the whatchamacallit, the prepper's bunker. What's the backstory for the bumbling student who figured this out? I mean, is Firewall just a special instance of regex? And regex is a whole magic system? Firewall is just the most well-known version of it. But actually, you could master a whole system of, text manipulation and transformation. I imagine if it's a type of magic that involves like writing it down as magic circles with runes, that someone discovered on their final exam when they could not remember the correct rune, and they just wrote some filler that inadvertently they had created. Wire ball would be yeah. Mm-hmm. Rothless in naming? Hmm. Yeah, The Name of the Wind. Yeah, I remember that. I love the first book. And I've talked about this before. I feel like Rothfuss is responsible for why the series isn't done because of the lack of editing on the second book. He did it to himself. And it's not to say that the second book is terrible. It's good. It's just overlooks, it had a critical flaw in that it ignored the pacing that it needed to achieve in order for it to work as a trilogy. And so he just didn't cover it. He wasted time in one section of the book, and then he, one part of the story is just this long tangent and really doesn't need to be as long as it is. And then he just didn't account for the fact that if you're going to finish in 3 books, you got to have a plan. Your plan has to be, you have to cover a certain amount of time in each of those books. And if you can't cover that time, you're not going to finish. Well, and then what happens, he creates a problem where he needs to finish up the 3rd book. And the 3rd book needs to cover the remaining time. There's no way he can tell the story in, without going way over length. I mean, the frame is great. This idea that, I'll tell you my story, but it's going to take me 3 days. And then have each book be one of those days. That's great. I really like that. I think it's I got buy-in right from the start. I want to see where this goes. But then the second book just doesn't cover enough ground. In a way, it did Tom Bombadil in the sense that I feel like the whole, step into the fairyland or the Fey world, whatever that was called, was a huge, unnecessarily long, detour.
I'm gonna need to eat soon.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing is, you could just admit that you can't finish it in 3 books and write it as 4 books. It's okay. Yeah, you can have, the next book be, the morning to the afternoon, and then the last book be the afternoon to the evening, right? It's okay. We'd forgive him. This is not good. We need to repair that. Ooh, that's looking already significantly better than what we got. Condition's not good.
Nobody needs this anymore.
Oh, there's the dude. Oh well. Yeah, I think it's partly contract, but I think it's also it just there's also a performance anxiety around that, which is like it did far better than I think he anticipated, and then suddenly he has a huge audience of people that wants to see the ending and worry about like not sticking the landing, especially after the second book kind of miscalculated its how much it was going to cover. So like I said, I think the pressure was on him to do it in 3 books, and then he basically set himself up so he couldn't finish it in 3 books. So oh, come on. No, there's nothing over here. Okay, take your time. Oh, poor Astrid. Walking into the wind. Not fun. Okay, what do we got here? See more saplings.
God, I'd eat anything right about now.
Oh, look at all these saplings. And still no maple. Oh, I haven't even thought about that. Yeah, that might be true too. A lot of nothing. Oh, really? Okay, yeah, I don't think I noticed that, but I only read through them once, so. I really loved the first book, though. I will say the first book was like, oh, this is going to be an instant classic. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. Let's dump like some of these.
I'm gonna need to rest soon. I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
Five. That's a lot. Okay, let's swap this one out and repair it. And repair it. Okay.
Just need to close my eyes.
Okay, so mostly good here. Okay, this is better. We just need to do the repairs on it. Hey, welcome in Bloody Cactus, and welcome in Raiders. Let's give you guys a shout out here. Hey, welcome in, folks. We are doing the tournament. Oh, actually, I forgot to.
Wow.
Station serving the San Cristobal Medical Facility and Seeker Synthetics.
No.
So yeah, we're doing this challenge. We're taking a break from our other challenge to do the tournament. Furry then Silence 2.0 Interloper Division. Here's a description of what we're doing for that. There's also a link with a more detailed explanation of how it works. I'm not certain. This has kind of been a slow. I'll be honest. This has kind of been a slow going. We had a good, strong start, and then we've hit a couple of roadblocks. One of them is that we have not been able to find the hammer so far, and we are now into. Let's see. We just saw that. We're now into day 6, so we're on day 6 now. So we have not been able to forge. We also still don't have a bedroll. So now, if you've been watching my stream long enough, you'll know that not having a bedroll has never stopped me before, because I am often going on long runs without bedrolls. So that is a thing that happens. Now we're on day 6, and we still don't have our bow because we haven't found a hammer, so we can't forge. So we've got saplings all over the place. We just put down 5 more saplings here. We are going to make a run over to the Picnic Creek and see if we can find the we'll see if we can find a bedroll in the cave behind the waterfall. Oh, this is kind of risky. Wolves are over there. Sometimes there's a wolf up here too. We're just hugging this wall so that the wind doesn't take out our torch. So, Bloody Cactus, did you decide, where did your run start? I think you were saying you were going to do the same tactic as me and start in Desolation Point. I've also been trying to figure out if a coastal highway start would be better, but I made another attempt this afternoon. Like, I spent like an hour looking into it. And the problem I find is that getting your matches at the start of that is tricky. Take a lot of cold damage.
This pack is getting kind of heavy.
Well, watching people do the tournament is good experience then, because you get to see all these different tactics for how to advance quickly on your run when you've got a limited time, like 50 days. In my, I will probably pull the plug on this run on day 10 if I haven't got a hammer by then. Because if I can't get forged by day 15, that's really not going to be a good showing. I really want to be forged by day 10. So. Alright. Well, it's the arrowheads, but it's also to get a bow. You can't... In Interloper, there's no pre-made bows anywhere. So you're going to have to... the tournament requires you to craft a bow. So in order to craft a bow, you have to have a knife or a hatchet. You don't have those in Interloper either, so you're going to have to forge those as well. Yeah, the hammer in Kwanzaa is a great find if you can get it.
I'll take it.
It's not what I was looking for, but... Another lantern. Yeah, I mean... There are definitely regions I know really well, and other regions I don't know nearly as well. There's no shame in using maps if that helps you learn a region. Yeah, I think everyone has their own sort of way of figuring things out. I used to rely heavily on maps. I don't do that anymore. But that's really just kind of a choice about... because I also found it was distracting for me to constantly have to refer to the map, and I felt I really need to learn the landmarks and be able to navigate just by what I can see.
Come on, little fire.
And not depend on the maps. Although I use the maps sometimes if there's like a particular area I'm trying to reach and I've forgotten how to reach there, in a region that I haven't been to or I don't know anything about, then yeah, then that might make sense. Okay. Let's see here. Potato. Probably should put the potato on the can, but on the pan. But that's okay. We'll just cook up some foolish guy here. Okay, Astrid has to strip down to get through the waterfall. Wow, we are striking out everywhere. No bedroll here either. More flares, but that sucks. I always think there should be something up here, but there isn't. No, we don't want that. We want this. Okay, and I want to repair this one. Nine, and that's... Yeah. The game, I mean, always there's an evolution to the game once you learn more, right? So regions where I don't know anything are always hard, but it's fun in its own way, right? Yeah, when I jumped from Stalker to Interloper, it was a big, steep learning curve. I was pretty good at Stalker. You know, I had around 700 hours in Stalker, and I'd played through, you know, a good chunk of Wintermute as well. But there were definitely regions I completely avoided. I still, to this day, hate dealing with Timberwolves. I've gotten better, but it's still, like, I'd happily turn them off sometimes, you know. And the best thing for me was actually that I created a challenge. Here, this is a challenge that I'm kind of famous for, which is the Roll With It challenge. I actually need to post it to the TLD challenge page that Big Fishes and Chef Maria are maintaining. But yeah, so there's the challenge is basically you move region to region. You have to visit all regions. And you don't know how long you're going to stay until you arrive. You roll a die as soon as you arrive. The die, you know, upgrades over time. So within the first 50 days, you know, major regions are 1 to 10, and transition zones like Crumbling Highway or Ravine or Milton Basin even are like 1 to 4 days. But after 50 days, major regions go to 1 to 20 days. and transition zones become 1 to 6. At 100 days, transition zones go to 1 to 8. And at 150 days, they go to 1 to 10. So you could potentially get stuck in Crumbling Highway for 10 days. And the thing is, you cannot leave early and you cannot leave late. You have to leave when you check your journal and this number, this day survived, turns over to that day that you're supposed to leave. You have to be out by midnight of that day. Now that turnover is based on your spawn time. So if you spawn late in the day, you're pretty much doomed, because trying to leave the region after that turns over, but before midnight, becomes a real race against time. And if there's a blizzard, if there's like, timber wolves roaming around, whatever the challenge might be, you just killed a bear and you are going to harvest it, and then you realize you're out of time, you drop everything and you leave. Or there's a blizzard and you can't hold a torch and you're going into Broken Railroad, tough luck, you're going into Broken Railroad. And so it's great because sometimes the dice are really cruel, and I would get like 20 days in Forlorn Muskeg, 20 days in Broken Railroad, 20 days in Forsaken Airfield, and then 20 days in Zone of Contamination. I didn't have that on the single run, but I did have like back-to-back 20 days once, or a couple times. So 20 days, Forsaken Airfield, 20 days Zone of Contamination. But it's a real education. Like, if there are regions that you have been avoiding, being forced to live there for longer than you usually spend is a good education. It teaches you. And I got part of that idea, just the idea of like an extended stay somewhere, came from like a very famous challenge called Keg Stand, which is you spawn in Forsaken, or spawn in Forlorn Muskeg, and you do not leave. You stay there, which means that in Interloper, there's no way you'll ever forge. There's nothing to forge because there's no hammer. So that just means that you're going to live off of the land, and you're going to have to, kite wolves into deer, or chase deer into wolves, and then scare off the wolves and steal the food. You're going to have to do all these other strategies just to survive. But I think it's like the way you learn the game. I tell people, like, the Long Dark for me is like an inherently Buddhist experience, in the sense that it's all about living the best life you can, dying, and then trying to apply what you learned in the previous life to the next life to be better. And it just keeps going on and on and on. So it's like, it teaches you, like, there's no, you want a good death, right? And you want to take something out of that and be better the next time around. So that's why I say it's inherently like a Buddhist game. Okay, we don't need to take 14 coal with us. Don't need that. What else don't we need? We don't need 4 of these. Okay, how much over are we? We're still a little bit over. We can drop this one. warming up a little bit. I think we just need a little bit of water here. What I think we're going to do is we're going to hop up top, go into Timberwolf Mountain, check Mountaineers and the fishing hut. And if neither of them has useful things, we're out of there. We're not going to stick around. Oh, I don't know. I mean, we still don't have a bedroll, so that's really kind of the clincher. If we can't find a bedroll, then we've just got to go. Okay. Is there anything else we can cook? Hey, Pickle! How goes the tourney? The tourney is going well. Yes and no, actually. Our problem is we still have not found the hammer, so we have a delayed forge, which means we're not going to do well on this round. We're going to give this a try until about day 10. If we can't get forged by day 10, then I'll probably have to start over. But part of me wants to just continue on, just so I can have something on the board, and then go back and do a better run, you know.
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
Okay, let's see here. What else can we drop? We're still heavy. Oh, that's because we haven't dropped the sticks. Can we fit the sticks in here? No, won't let us fit the sticks in. Okay. Well, we've got saplings curing all over the place, but we still have not found a maple sapling, which is a problem. This coffee. But, I mean, gear-wise, we're not badly geared up. And we have skillet, pry bar, hacksaw. So because we have the hacksaw, we at least have the option to, you know, harvest things. Oh, and we have guts down in various places too, curing. So. Okay, take care, Laszlo. Thanks for dropping in earlier, and get your sleep. Okay. Okay, we really... Yeah, I'll have to think about that, Laszlo. I think it's a good idea. We'll have to figure out what exactly does it look like. It would also be funny to have a pinball wizard a wizard that simply throws or fires really high speed, tiny hardened balls at people that ricochet everywhere. And sometimes, you know, there are lighting effects as well. That would be hilarious. Probably not in long term, just in a short term moment it would be funny and then everyone would be annoyed. So I mean, if we don't find the bedroll, it's not the end of the world. I mean, I've gone, what, 41 days without a bedroll. So yeah, that's not the end of the world. I can survive without a bedroll. But I can't do this run if I can't forge, so that's the part that has to happen. Another birch sapling. So many birch saplings. Where's our maple? Yeah, but everyone's been doing the HRV start, and I don't really want to do the HRV start. I want to pick something more interesting. I could go away, buddy.
Think about his food.
Go away, go away. You recently freed yourself bedroll crutch while exploring. Yeah, I mean, it's... Bedroll is great if you have one, but you can, if you have enough fabric and sticks, you can always build yourself a shelter. My solution for that is, like, if I'm in Crumbling Highway, I build a shelter next to the mine entrance. Then if there's a storm, I will just hop out and wait out the storm in the mine. You know, there's a load screen. I don't have to spend any coal or fuel to keep myself warm. Oh yeah, what do we got here? Yeah. More matches. We started in Forlorn Muskeg. Oh, not Forlorn Muskeg. We started in Desolation Point. It was not a bad place to start. In theory, it would have been a great place to start if it would be... We had gotten our bedroll there. But we didn't get a bedroll there, and that was a problem. Yeah, I'd definitely do it again. I'd do Desolation Point. But, I mean, we checked everywhere. There's no bedroll in Desolation Point, and that was really unfortunate. Because there's multiple places where it should spawn, and so when it doesn't spawn, it just feels like you got ripped off. Yeah, I think we got the hacksaw in the connector. I think that's where it was. Or one of the mines. I can't remember which one it was.
I'd eat anything right about now.
Yeah, the old bedroll thing is annoying. Leave us alone. We don't have anything. Go away. Maybe we'll just gather some cattails while we're here. Yeah, so this is technically my second tourney attempt. The first one would be a good idea. It turned out to be a terrible idea. And then what made it really, really dumb was that I ended the run because I went into the... I got to Mystery Lake and I went into the dam. And I assumed I would find matches right off the bat, and I didn't find matches. And then I got lost in the darkness and couldn't figure out how to get out. And at that point, I was like, okay, I could just waste like more stream time trying to figure out how to get out of the dam, or I could just accept that this run is kind of doomed. Because to go that long without fire was just going to be a problem. I mean, I've done another challenge, one that I created for myself called Matchless, where I have to spend 50 days without matches. And I survive using only flares, maglens, or Fire Striker. And that's a good challenge. Oh, he's back. Really need more torches. Okay. Go away, buddy. You're running. Okay. Okay. Oh, I should use one of the books to start the fire. Oops.
That didn't work. Come on, little fire. Come on.
Okay, let's go ahead. Full of useless things. Okay. Oh, we just loaded up the fire, but actually, maybe we just want to take torches and go. I was like thinking, oh, we could stay the night, or we could choose not to stay the night and get back to the prepper's bunker, which I think might be a better place to go. Yeah, this is kind of a doomed. It started off so strong, and now it's becoming more and more behind schedule. Yeah, I don't know. What's our best way out of this? Okay, so we currently have 8. We need more. So we could go back to PV and try the farmhouse. That's probably our next bet. Leave us alone, buddy. We're scrawny. Got nothing you would want. Okay, what are we doing? Hey, have a good time at work. Yeah, we're on day 6. I mean, we got 4 more days to see if we can make this work. 3 more, really, by the time we get our rest in. Yeah, we'll reevaluate at the end of tonight's stream. If we still have not found a hammer by the end of tonight, then I think the next stream we'll start a new run. Point start in the hopes that we get lucky with the bedroll. But I've been hearing from a number of people that bedroll in Desolation Point is more iffy now than it used to be. So I still think it's a pretty solid start. Ash Canyon's also an interesting start if you can make it work. Lack of bedroll is still tough, but how much over are we? 32. Oh, didn't need to do that then. Down. Yeah, no, I think yeah, part of me just wants to get a run in, so I'll most likely just persevere. Because I will need to figure out some other things. Okay. Yeah, we'll get the first one in. Yeah, we'll get the first one in. Okay.
I've never been so hungry in my life. Come on, little fire.
Okay.
Man, this pack is getting kind of heavy. I could eat anything right now.
I think farmhouse should be our next stop anyways, just for the food.
Man, all I can think about is food. I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Okay, we've got plenty of torches. It's really gusty. I can see our torch going out in any second.
God, I'm starving.
I don't know, that's much better. Figures. We still need to find a maple sapling. Oops, wrong direction.
Sure getting cold.
Too windy for a torch. We'll just fill our belly over here.
It's so cold. I just want to lay down for a bit.
Oh.
One little fire.
Okay, now we're well fed. Still well fed. Sleep for an hour, see if the wind changes. Sounds a lot better. Normally, I find a maple sapling around here too, but I don't see one, so... Oh, I guess we can pop up over here. I don't expect to get much out of this, but since we're here, might as well check it. Feathers, that's what we'll get. There's the second one. Don't remember there being two.
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
Well, we got food. That was worth stopping for. Oh, it was over here. Okay.
This pack is getting kind of heavy.
So yeah, I figure PV still gives us a couple more options. We have the farmhouse and we have Signal Hill that we haven't tried. Okay. Off we go. Farmhouse time. There's like a slim chance we'll find the hammer in the farmhouse basement. There's also a chance we find better clothes and the hammer in Signal Hill. Those fail, then I think we try for Mystery Lake.
Oh, I've never been so hungry in my life.
I'm still streaming. Am I still on? See, are we still on? Got disconnected. Okay, hold on a second. I think we're going to try. How do we reboot the... Okay, we're gonna stop and start again, see if we can restore this.